Welcome to another Dreadlocks question and answer video where I answer your questions. The first question this week comes courtesy of xRASTAxXLIONx. xRASTAxXLIONx asks, question, I'm afraid my roots won't knot once I dread my hair and it'll grow out normal. I see people crochet the roots once it grows out a bit, but I want to just let mine knot on their own. Will my roots grow out dreaded or normal? When people start their dreadlocks and use starting methods such as backcomb or twist and rip, those starting methods do not create finished dreadlocks. Those methods just hold the hairs in their sections, hold the hairs together, and once those hairs are held close together, they're able to interact with each other, knot up, tighten, and form mature dreadlocks. You do not need to carry out any such methods on the roots to get them to lock up, and that is because the root hairs are already going to be held close together by the dreaded part further down. Some people will work on the roots, whether that's with crochet or another method, and these methods will be able to get those loose roots looking tight immediately. However, if you force the roots tight, you can end up in a situation where those hairs are held too tight to be able to interact with each other and knot up naturally, and you can end up in a cycle where you get the roots really tight, they're unable to lock by themselves, so they grow out a bit, and once they start growing out, you feel the need to tighten them again, and it turns into this cycle of tightening and loosening and tightening and loosening. Whereas if they're left alone for long enough, if they're left to look a little bit loose and messy for a little bit, they will be able to knot up and mature, and then from then on they'll be able to lock up by themselves. Once they're locked to the roots by themselves, they are locked for life and you don't need to worry about them anymore. If you'd like to know more about Dreadlocks New Growth, I will leave a link in the description to my Dreadlocks New Growth video. Pauline The Princess asks, question, is hairspray a forgiving product on dreadlocks? As in, I have graduation pictures in less than 2 weeks with 2.5-month-old dreads. If I use hairspray once to tame it for photos, would a deep clean do the trick to getting rid of the hairspray? I will very commonly get asked how to make dreadlocks look more presentable for special occasions, such as graduations, weddings, job interviews. So it's not an everyday fix, but something that will allow the dreadlocks to look on point for a special occasion. In these situations, you will be able to get away with doing certain things to your hair that you otherwise would not want to do to them, such as use hair styling products. I should stress that products such as hair gels and hairsprays should only be used sparingly and for special occasions, because these are products that are designed to hold hairs in place, and hairs that are held in place, hairs that have their movement restricted, will not be able to knot up freely, and therefore it would slow down the locking process if you were using them every single day. Not to mention that the product could build up in the hair. But for one-off, for a special event, the balance of what's ideal for the dreadlocks and what's ideal for me kind of swings in the favor of using products for that day. The compatibility of different products with your hair is gonna really depend on the exact product, but provided you're not soaking your dreadlocks in something, provided you're not rubbing it in really deep, you should be able to wash it out without too much trouble. You know, if you're in any doubt, you can always just use pure aloe vera. You'll be able to use that to stick down loose hairs for the day when required, and you will be able to wash it back out. Josh Holden asks, question, what method did you use? Long-time viewers will know that my dreadlocks were started at a salon using the backcomb method along with wax. And I would like to stress that you certainly should not follow my advice. It is not a method that I would recommend. That's not to say that you can't get your dreadlocks done professionally at a salon, but I would recommend fully checking out the person that's going to be doing the dreadlocks and make sure that you're 100% happy with what they're going to be doing to your hair. But I would recommend avoiding wax products at all costs. If you'd like to know more about how I started my dreadlocks, you'll find a link to my frequently asked questions video in the description below. Low Got the Dro asks, I didn't section my dreads when I did them, so there's lots of loose hair at the roots. Can I make more dreads from the loose hair, or should I just let it lock into the existing dreads? If you've got lots of loose hair floating about, there'll be nothing to stop you from knotting it up. Whether you could make whole new dreads from it is gonna kind of depend on how much loose hair you have. I mean, if you've got huge chunks of it, then you'd be able to knot that up into new dreadlocks entirely. But if you've only got small patches of it, it's unlikely that you'd be able to get them to turn into full dreadlocks. They would just get eaten up by surrounding dreads, which is also a good thing, because once that hair gets eaten up, you've got rid of the loose hair problem. You can either encourage it to knot up yourself, or you can leave it alone. The easiest way obviously would be to leave it alone completely, and over time those hairs will start to knot up and either form their own dreads or get eaten up by neighbor dreads. But if you're desperate to try and encourage them yourself, you can just sort of twist it and knot it up into a little ball ball, and that will help move it along. And my Facebook question this week is from Jess Whitelaw. Jess asks, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? If I could have any superpower, when I was younger I would have probably said the ability to be invisible. That always sort of seemed like a good idea, but mainly because I figured I could get on the bus for free or go to the movies for free. Lots of doing things without paying for them. I think the novelty would maybe wear off. I think a better superpower would be the ability to fly. That would be very cool. Although I would also be tempted by the ability to move backwards and forwards through time, but I think I'm putting far too much thought into this. I don't know how I would use them to become a superhero. I'm not sure how I would use my powers to benefit others, but they would be cool to have. Those are my questions for this week. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in a Dreadlocks Q&A video, you can either leave them in the comment section below. Please write the word question at the start of your comment and then it will join the queue. Or you can join the Facebook page at facebook.com/lazydreads, whereby each Tuesday I post a status asking, does anyone have any questions for the Q&A? And whichever reply to that status gets the most Facebook likes by the time that I come around to filming my next video will get answered straight away that week. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, enjoyable, informative, you can click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from me in the future, you can of course subscribe. If you're looking for Dreadlocks information, guides, advice, tips, tricks, help, questions being answered, you can as always find all my content on lazydreads.com. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Farewell!